Hi, I'm Janosch, co-founder of aclipp, and today I want to show you our AI visibility product. To get started, you want to go to the prompts page and start adding some prompts. This is as simple as coming here, creating a prompt, setting a location, setting a frequency, and then optionally also adding a topic. Yeah, this is super simple to do. We also do give you some suggestions that you can also regenerate if you want to, so you can quickly get set up without having to come up with all the prompts yourself. The next thing you want to do is to add some competitors so you can benchmark yourself against them. We also do give you some suggestions for this, but you can also always just create your own competitor so that we know what to track and basically who to benchmark you against. And then lastly, you're going to want to choose the providers that you work with. We offer a wide range of different providers and models so that you can basically use whatever fits your needs and what makes sense for your use case. This is configurable in the settings as well, and then this will be all the providers that we send your prompts to. Once we've got that set up, you can come to the chats page to see all the chats that already happened. Here you can always use these top level filters. These are available across all the geo pages to slice the data however you want to. So for example, you can filter by a specific provider, filter by a specific location, and so on and so forth. Now, what's also super interesting is having a look at the individual prompt runs or individual chats themselves. You can do this by clicking on any of the rows and you see the full result of the conversation we had with the model, right? So you see the prompt here and then the answer that the model gave based on that prompt. As you can already see, we're already highlighting all the mentions of the competitors and also of yourself, of course, to compile basically this list of who gets mentioned, also in which position, right? So we always track who comes in first, who comes in second, and so on, so that you get a better overview of how we're doing. And you can also see that we're aggregating all the citations that are used here, as well as any of the queries that the model used in order to inform and to feed its response. Next, we'll have a look at the overview page. This is where you can see all data like aggregated for the entire workspace. So you see this trends over time data, for example, the visibility, so in how many, in what percentage of chats you appear, but also things like share of voice, the position that we talked about, and the sentiment. You also have this additional share of voice graph down here. And what you can do is have a look at the top brands, for example, and compare yourself directly against the other brands that you're tracking. So in this case, we're seeing that Adidas does seem to have the highest visibility, closely followed by Nike, which also seems like it's a reasonable kind of split. We can also look at this more in depth and have a look at one of the brand pages themselves. So for example, let's go to the Adidas case. And here we are going to get basically a detailed view of the visibility of Adidas with trends over time and everything like that. And again, you can always use these filters to narrow things down and to slice the data however you want to. So we could use the location filter to see how Adidas is doing in Germany as compared to the overall market, I guess. So we can really get some good insights from this view. We also have this AI summary here, which is basically taking all the different mentions you're getting across the chats and kind of creating a full perception summary of your brand to see what the positive attributes but also negative attributes are that are being associated with your brand. And we already also give you some examples here with where you have exceptionally high or exceptionally low sentiment. Here you can, for example, see that it's allotted for exceptional energy return. These are the cases where Adidas was really portrayed in a good light, and this is something you can use to see how AI is talking about your brand. To make these insights more actionable, we also have the sources tab, where we basically aggregate the domains and URLs that were mentioned or were used as sources in the chats that we had with the models based on your prompts. So you see, how the LLM really forms its own opinions, or where it basically gets its facts from. And the great thing about this is that you can use it to find good opportunities for yourself to, position yourself, to send press releases to specific outlets, to place clippings in specific outlets, and so on. As you can see, we give you this data along with this kind of column that shows how often specific URLs were basically used as sources. And the great thing is that we also have a look at these pages themselves, and we see basically who is really mentioned on these pages, right? So what you can do is you can basically filter these URLs, for example, for URLs where you aren't mentioned yet, and where you therefore maybe can place a clipping. And what you can also do is use our gap score. It's a score we calculate that's based on how often a brand or a URL is cited, and how many of your competitors are being shown there. So for example, here you can see that these are being cited pretty often, this one as well, and there's lots and lots of other brands being mentioned on this page, but it doesn't seem like Adidas is being mentioned, and so this will obviously lead to LLMs recommending other brands over our brand, which is something we don't want to do. So yeah, this is a great way to find out where you can still place good clippings, and how you can basically improve your communication and your PR. And that's already it. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know, and otherwise, see you again soon.